Welcome to World's Wildest.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Like and subscribe now.
Yeah.
Now. Some of you, a lot of you, watch the videos and you don't freaking like them. Like them now or else.
And leave a comment of what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, most of our episodes are viewer suggestions.
Yep.
Including this one.
Yeah.
World's Trippiest.
From Ordinary Bean 6780. Y'all should do a World's Trippiest because Mother Nature is one big acid trip.
Yeah, so let's clarify because we have done World's Highest and World's Most Inebriated. Right? So we've done like drunk animals and high animals. This is not also high animals. This is like World's Trippiest, like they look the trippiest.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look the most psychedelic.
Do you want to know what I did for my research for this?
Yes.
I played World of Warcraft and watched a lot of Rick and Morty. I've never watched Rick and Morty before.
How did that help you with your research?
Because you're watching it, it's like a freaking acid trip the whole time.
Have you ever been on an acid trip?
I would know, but I would love to when I'm really old.
Oh, right. Yes. We talked about this on the highest episode.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I have not, and I know for a fact that I would hate it. I love all these animals, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure I would love to see them in the wild. But if I was tripping on acid, I know that I would have control issues.
Yep.
And if I couldn't like voluntarily get myself out of that high, I would have a panic attack and lose my mind. And if I saw things moving and it didn't seem right to me and I couldn't stop it, I would have a panic attack.
I've heard if you're not in the right headspace, it can be like nightmarish.
Yeah, I'm never in the right headspace.
Yeah.
For losing control.
Don't do drugs. Don't
do drugs. That's our formal endorsement. Another formal endorsement. You can check us out on Patreon. We do bonus content over there, and it's really fun and fresh. And last week we what did we talk about last week? We yapped about
pink.
No, zoos. We had a conversation about like what we like in zoos and what we don't like in zoos, and like what we see for the future of zoos. And then this week we're talking about what
we can do rehab, like our rehab experiences,
like wildlife rehabilitation.
I forgot the other one.
Is that what? I thought we were talking about something kind of spicy. We talk about like more controversial topics over there, and if you're interested in our take on those things, you can check us out on Patreon. Also, we do have mugs. This is our only merch that exists. It's an aluminum mug and it has our logo on it. I do really like our logo. It's
really good size for espresso and whiskey.
Connor's a whiskey guy. He's into it. Is that all the shout outs that we have? Shall we?
Let's get into it. Okay. I'm down. I wish we could take drugs and do this episode. It'd be fun.
Yeah, they go crazy.
We shouldn't do that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Connor and I are both sober.
Yes.
Scout's honor. Okay. My first animal is the psychedelic frogfish.
Okay. Interesting. Psychedelic frog, sure.
Good name.
But the fish.
Yeah, this is a frogfish from Indonesia. They are 5.9 inches long or 15 centimeters. So like they're like the size of a fist.
Average.
Yeah. And this is what they look like.
Oh, that looks like an eel.
It does kind of look like an eel. How to describe to audio listeners?
I mean, like a kaleidoscope of white and yellow with two eyes that are like jade color in the center. And like there's a little mouth there.
Yeah, he has a frowny face. Yeah, and he is like a kaleidoscope. It's like the shape of a plate, very flat head, flat face. No nose, just a frowny face. Just like if you type it on the computer. This is what they look like zoomed out. So that's what his face looks like, and this is what the full body looks like.
Interesting.
It is kind of shaped like a small shark.
It's kind of phallic.
Okay. And it has like some little feet, but all of the pattern on this fish is like trippy. Like it looks like a kaleidoscope. It's bizarre.
It does. It reminds me of those yellow candy canes that taste awful.
What? Like, yellow candy canes?
You've never had a yellow candy cane?
No, I have not. These fish don't have any scales, but they are covered in like a protective mucus. Yum. They eat shrimp. They eat other small fish.
Sure.
And they move by walking on its pectoral fins. We have a little video, or it uses its fins to push off from the seafloor, while at the same time shooting water through its gills to propel itself forward.
That's cool.
Via jet propulsion.
Wow.
Look at this. Look at this athletic prowess. Look at him go. Psychedelic frogfish on the move. What a crazy.
That's weird. Okay, the pictures don't do it justice. The video gives them a lot of depth and weirdness. That's bizarre.
He's not really even moving that much in the video.
It looks like he's got arms.
It does look like arms. It looks like this is a really hard one to describe. I'm usually pretty okay at describing things. I don't really know what to tell you for this fish.
That's crazy that it's using the jet propulsion. Like, it's not swimming at all. It is sucking water, and that's it. That's all you're seeing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're strange little creatures. Okay, so you want to know how they were discovered?
Yeah.
So in 1992, in June of 1992,
That's
frogfish anniversary, anybody? Wow. There was a shipment of assorted fishes from Bali to the Dallas Aquarium. And they were kind of weird. It was like what they thought were two weird looking angler fish in very poor condition, and they died the same month. And the specimens, they were preserved and then they were sent off for ID. Then they were fixed in formalin and preserved in ethanol, so their colors faded to like white. And when the fish were analyzed, they were misidentified at that time as cryptic anglerfish. But then those specimens, after being misidentified, were placed on a shelf. And then they weren't returned to until 2008. So like they were brought in 1992 to the Dallas Aquarium,
right.
And then they were re-looked at in 2008. And then this animal was first described in 2009.
Jeez.
Super new.
That's so new.
So they look back at it and they're like, wait, this is not an anglerfish. This is a
New
psychedelic
species.
frogfish. Yeah, kind of neat. They're really hard to find. I think a lot of scuba divers, this is like a shiny,
Right.
They like really want to see them, but they're really good at wedging themselves into rocks, and their
Right.
camouflage is really good because
it
they
is.
look crazy. So people don't see them very often. Also, they can lay hundreds of eggs at a time.
Huh.
Kind of a fun fact. But yeah, that's the psychedelic frogfish. If you have a chance and you're an audio listener, we always say this, that you should like look up a picture. It's fine if you don't. We'll do our best to describe it, but just believe us when we say it's a really cool psychedelic looking
Look up a picture
weird fish.
if you're not driving, but remember to look it up when you park.
If you are driving, drive safe. Hope you have a good day at work.
Yeah. I've got a blanket octopus.
Okay.
Which I get. This always happens. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to find anything like long or in depth about something, and then I can go down a freaking rabbit hole. In this case, it's like an LSD rabbit hole.
Okay.
And it's wonderful. So we're gonna start out with a video because this is what they look like, and it is insane.
Blanket octopus. I don't know this animal.
Most people don't, which is weird. So please describe what you are seeing. It is Pride Month right now during this recording.
It looks like an octopus if it had like a rainbow ombre Valorant skin.
And it's like moving through the body. Like it's shimmering.
The colors are changing, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really bizarre. So pay attention to that blanket.
Oh my gosh, it has a train, like a wedding dress train that's all rainbow colors and it is changing color, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically the light, the skin's not...
It's refracting.
Yeah, it's refracting at different ways. It's kind of mesmerizing. And like, yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't seem real. Octopods.
It's giving gamer octopus.
Yeah. Octopods just don't seem like they're from this earth.
No.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
Great
crazy.
footage.
Insane. So they've got these long transparent webs that connect 4 out of 8 of the arms together.
Okay.
These guys don't live in the deep sea. Like normally you think they'd be in the deep sea.
It looks like a deep sea animal for sure.
They're on the surface. Like
What?
They're all over the water column. So
that looks very normal.
yeah, this is a research article that I'll have linked in the description that kind of goes through a lot of them. There's not a ton of research, but there's a few really awesome papers that go a little bit in depth on them. But yeah, so they're all over the water column. They love a lot of warm water, and they don't like they come to the surface. They go medium, no deep water. It has to stay warm. So why do they have this blanket? Well, scientists think it's a defensive mechanism, both to scare off predators.
It makes them look way bigger.
Yep. So that's one of the main thoughts. But there's a hypothesis that they will actually be able to detach their blankets
What?
and then grow them back later. So like a lizard tail. So here's a video of a free floating blanket out in the ocean that a diver saw.
What? No way. It looks like a fruit roll-up floating in the ocean. I would have thought that was kelp.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what gives it away right there. The translucent, clear, like blanket-esque, or not blanket, translucent, crazy, weird looking
Yeah.
skin.
I mean, it looks like a fruit roll-up if fruit roll-ups were clear at the end.
And big.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they're like, they've never seen it. And there's some comments under this video like, oh my God, the divers, scared it so much that it fell off.
Yeah.
No, this diver was just like, oh, what is this?
Right.
And then they finally ID'd it.
Wow.
So they think they can regrow it. They're not sure.
Mhm.
It's like kind of hard to study these guys. But their main predators that they're trying to get away from are whales, sharks, and large fish. We'll go after them.
Whales, sharks, and large fish. Got it.
Yeah. So there's they are the craziest. This would be a good one for like world's most sexually dimorphic. There's got to be a better SEO optimized word for that.
No, that's a good title. We should use that next time.
But they are the most sexually dimorphic, non-microscopic animal in the animal kingdom.
Really? That's a hard thing to quantify.
Yeah. And like, I couldn't find the microscopic one. Hank Green was like trying to teach me about that, but didn't quite get there. Anyway, so females max out at 6.6 feet or 2 meters. So that's just a little bit taller than me.
Wait, can I guess?
Sure. What the males are?
Yeah.
Sure. Go for it.
17 inches.
Males are 1 inch.
What?
So I did some math. This is slightly bigger than your male if you were a female octopus. Here you go. And then this light up arm is going to be important later. That's a specialty arm. So yeah, they weigh only 0.25 grams, the males do. So
wow,
that's bigger than what your male would be.
Wait, okay, so this is proportionally. If I am the female octopus, this is the male octopus.
Yeah, I downsized.
And this is the peepus.
Yes, it's technically the sex arm.
Right.
We'll get into the sex arm in a minute. It's also quite weird. You're floating around the ocean. You're a small 1 inch
I have
male.
a hypothesis.
What?
This is his sex arm?
Yeah.
Are you about to tell me how they do it?
In a second.
Okay, I want to guess.
I'm going to go over the defensive strategy first because it's also wild.
Okay.
But I will ask you
They
about
ink.
stuff. So, so the scientists looked and were interested how the males defend themselves.
Yeah.
And apparently they just go up to Portuguese man-o'-wars and rip off their stingers and then use those stingers to wield them as defensive mechanisms.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
SciShow describes it as using the stingers as whips. Like the males are using them as whips to defend themselves, which is crazy. So they're not affected by the Portuguese man-o'-war stingers. Small females, subadult females, when they're small, will do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a weight ratio that the females get to when they're like probably like halfway through growing. They're like, nope, it's no longer like useful to carry them around because they're so big.
Yeah.
Anyway, so crazy defensive mechanism. So males kind of have a tragic life, but guess how they mate with the females.
Okay, so octopus has a arm that is the peepus, and some can detach that arm, and it can go find the female, kind of, and the female can collect arms from multiple males, and then kind of like pick, like as if you're picking the French fry that you want to eat.
Yeah,
sort of like that. Or some octopuses are able to do like the reach around method with their peepus arm. And so they reach around and they stick it in her nostril. It's not actually her nostril, but it's like where the nostril would be.
Oh.
So I'm going to go detach and like missile find female.
So they'll detach and like hand it to her.
Yeah, imagine having a detachable penis so you can hand somebody.
Which is crazy. I didn't know octopuses did that.
Yeah.
I had no clue about their mating
Pretty neat.
until this. Yeah, so yeah, they'll rip it off, and then yeah, it'll climb up into like the little pocket, basically.
What is that? What am I thinking of? There, SpongeBob. Whose arm does that? Doodle Bob.
Doodle.
Do you remember that episode where they erase him and then
Yeah,
they
okay.
just leave his arm and his arm like inchworms around everywhere and like redraws himself?
Yeah.
That's like them for real. This is the boy.
Yep.
It's so cute.
Mm-hmm. So tiny.
And I don't usually say that. This is like it looks like a Dumbo octopus a little bit. Like you can see its eyes and it's kind of like globular and cute and it's got little tiny arms. No offense.
It's just crazy that they can just like, all right, here, well, they're tiny arms, so it makes sense that the females could hold a ton. I was trying to find how many that they could hold, and like when do they expire, but like nobody's done research on that yet. So if you're an ocean researcher, please let me know. Would love to know the expiration date on a sex arm. I thought it was really cool. So, well, when the female.
Question.
Huh?
It's a good question.
When a female finally decides that she wants to fertilize her eggs, yeah, she'll grab that egg or that sex arm, squirt it on there, and she will then construct a calcium carbonate anchor, lay up to 100,000 eggs onto that anchor, and then she'll carry the anchor with one of her arms while she swims around the ocean until they hatch and they start the babies start their journey and just float around the ocean on their own.
Wait, why is it an anchor then? I thought she was gonna drop it.
Anchor for like it sounded like that, which took me a while to like understand, but it's like an anchor for the eggs, and then she carries the anchor. So a better name is probably like a basket.
Oh, but
they
that's
call
cute.
it an anchor.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's really, really strange. And oh, by the way, the males probably die.
Right.
There are some octopods that the males can regrow their arms in 4 to 6 weeks, but they're just not sure about the males because they're so small. And it would be kind of unethical to rip his arm off and like see if it regenerates.
You keep saying octopods. Did you look up the like octopuses, octopi situation?
I hate saying octopuses.
See, I say octopuses
because it sounds too close to a dirty word in my mind. So octopods is better.
Are you like 30? That's crazy. Octopuses, but octopods. Okay.
It's I looked it up definition. Like, yeah, it's just a lesser used version of it.
Those guys out there, it's not octopi. I'm so sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that for fun if you want.
Yeah. So where my trauma comes from is as a vet tech, like you would write notes and some people would write like when a wound had pus in it, they would call it pussy. But if you spell that out and then you send that off to like a medical, like a very scientific place to help, get help from them, and then they make fun of you, just really traumatizing. That didn't happen to me, but I saw it happen to a lot of people. And it's called purulent. If a wound has pus in it, it's coming out.
It's to the point where he won't even let people say pus. Like he won't let people call something pus.
You can say pus. There are people that say pussy, and I'm like, no, like please. I'm like, spell it out, and they're like, we don't care. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, we can't. It's traumatizing.
Everybody's gonna be okay.
UGA sent our animal hospital a very strongly worded letter about how we need to be more professional at our clinic.
So dumb. That's crazy. Okay. All right. Anyway, octopods, everybody. Okay.
Thank you.
This episode is brought to you by ZocDoc. Excuses. When was the last time that you needed to go to a doctor, but you pushed it off?
All the
time. You made the excuse like, I'm too busy, or it'll heal on its own, or I don't need any help, or I don't know which doctor to go to. I think we've all been there. Booking a doctor's appointment can feel super daunting, but thanks to ZocDoc, there's no reason to delay. They make it super easy to find and book a doctor who's right for you. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, and you can click to instantly book an appointment. We are talking about in-network appointments. More than 100,000 doctors across every specialty: mental health, dental health, primary care, urgent care, and more.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/wildest to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/wildest. ZocDoc.com/wildest. Stop putting off those appointments and go to ZocDoc.com.
You can get same-day appointments with ZocDoc too, by the way, guys. Pretty sweet. Check it out.
Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode.
Next one is a Sunbeam snake. Have you heard of this?
No.
Have you heard of the Benson Boone song where he says "Moonbeam ice cream"?
No.
Okay.
Who?
Just
Benson
wondering.
Boom?
Benson Boone.
Is that the guy that does the front flips and back flips?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, so it has nothing to do with what I just said.
Okay.
Sunbeam snake. This is a non-venomous snake. There are two species. There's one from Southeast Asia and Indonesia, and then there's one from China and Vietnam. Adults reach like 3 feet, so like half of Connor. And they eat frogs, lizards, small mammals, stuff like that. So like normal snake stuff. Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Very iridescent.
Yes. So it's like a gray snake, but with like rainbow metallic chrome all over it. Like cool looking snake.
More than I've seen. Like blue
For sure.
indigo snakes have that iridescent look to it, but like this is like all the time there. Like 2 stripes of rainbows running down its side.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
they're very famous for this coloration, obviously. Yeah, even Noodle, the carpet python at Alveus, has some iridescence, but it is nothing like that.
No.
So the iridescence in snakes are they're caused by nanostructures in the scales called iridophores. So they have these microscopic layers that retract light between them, which I would be interested to know if they're similar to this blanket octopus at all, and like how it's structured.
Right.
But here's what this like looks like, kind of.
Okay.
In a diagram. So they're made stronger by a layer of dark pigmentation that runs underneath the surface. Like this is like a really dark snake.
Okay.
And then there's iridophores are in the middle. And so they like scatter light in between. Like light comes in and then it like refracts and makes it all rainbow colored. And then chromatophores are at the top, and that's where like actual pigment comes from in the skin. So why are they iridescent? It maybe helps with camouflage. Who knows? It maybe helps with communication and mating. Who knows? I don't know. The more we learn about animals, the more we learn how much we don't know anything about animals and like how they experience the world. But you talked about seeing it in other snakes. These are some examples of snakes I already knew had iridescence. This is a white-lipped python.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite snakes, actually. I think they're really cool.
White-lipped?
White-lipped python.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then this next one is a Bolin's python. First time I saw one of these in captivity, I was just like in awe. I stared at it forever. It's just like it's a black snake that's much bigger, and it's like really rainbowy. But the Sunbeam snake has a very different shape. They have around it, you can pull up the picture. They like to burrow in soft, muddy soil and hide throughout the day. So they have a really flat-topped, rounded head, which is perfect for going snout first into dirt. It's kind of like a little shovel head. And they have a really cute face. And I'm not just saying that because I'm like biased for snakes. So I don't know why they look so cute, but they've just got really like beady, cute eyes. And maybe it's because their nose is so rounded. They just look really nice.
And like the eyes are not like a normal shape. There's like no ridge over their eyes.
Yeah, they're very buttony and like boba-y.
Boba?
Eyes.
Oh, the eyes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I love them.
I've never had boba.
So this then took me down a rabbit hole, so I am about to go on a tangent. These snakes are notorious. People are probably seeing these and they're like, oh my god, I want one. You know, because they look really cool, and I get that. These snakes are notoriously hard to breed in captivity, so most of the sunbeam snakes in captivity are wild caught specimens.
Sad.
Yeah, which is super, super sad. But this is a huge problem for snakes everywhere. Ball pythons we talk about at Alveus often because we have a ball python named Patchy. Ball pythons, their name comes from the fact that one of their defensive mechanisms is to curl up into a ball, which admittedly is not the best defense mechanism, but is a really bad defense mechanism for like poachers.
Yep.
Because poachers will go around
easy.
and then like just walk up to them, they get scared and ball up, you just pick them up and put them in a pillowcase. We had a ball python come into Alveus in 2021 who was a confiscation from LAX, like the Los Angeles airport, and it was hundreds of baby ball pythons that were poached out of the wild in Africa, and they were shipped illegally into the US through cargo, through LAX cargo, and they were shoved into PVC pipe.
Jeez.
So it was like pillowcases shoved into PVC pipe, and then they were all confiscated and they all had to be rehomed. I'm sure a bunch of them were euthanized.
Right.
But we got one of those snakes from that confiscation, and it did not make it, which is really, really sad. But there's so many reptiles that are traded that way. So many reptiles that are poached out of the wild. Okay. So I have a really ugly diagram that if you want to pause to read, you're welcome to read, and I won't explain too much. But the point of even showing it is like getting animals listed on IUCN, like with a conservation status, is it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of people and a lot of resources. So there's a lot of things that have to go into that. Like there have to be people that want to study them,
Right.
which for animals that aren't like fuzzy mammals can be really hard to do.
Yep.
With like reptiles and invertebrates and stuff, there's so many data deficient reptiles, inverts, stuff like that, because there aren't enough people that want to study them. There's not enough funding for them.
Right.
Like the general public doesn't want to fund conservation for like snakes or reptiles
Right.
or like lizards or bugs. So they don't get as much funding, which makes it really hard to do any of this research because like people have to get paid to do research.
Yeah.
And it's just a really, really lengthy process. And so this is a huge problem for reptiles because at the same time, like I feel like the general public doesn't love reptiles, but then
Sure.
there are a lot of people that are like obsessed with them.
Yep.
And like the pet trade for reptiles is crazy. Like it's parrots have it the worst. And then reptiles have it the second worst. Like there's so many traded reptiles. Over 30% of reptiles traded online have not been evaluated. So like when you look at all of the reptiles that are like in circulation for the pet trade, over 30% have not been evaluated. Like their wild populations have not been evaluated because of this problem of not enough money, not enough people researching them. And then 79% of traded reptile species are not regulated by CITES, which is the Convention on the International Trade for Endangered Species.
Yikes.
So 79% of traded reptile species aren't regulated by CITES.
I feel like it should all be regulated.
Yeah, I know, but there's not enough resources for it.
Yeah.
So all of this to say, like, we could be losing thousands of reptile species under our nose and not even knowing it. And there could be reptile species that are really popular in the pet trade that people are like, oh, there's a ton of those because they're like circulating in the pet trade.
Right.
But their wild populations could just be like diminished.
Yep.
And we wouldn't even know because we're not out there counting them and we don't have the research. Crazy. It's so sad. So all that to say, you don't want a sunbeam snake. And I'm going to try to not go too much on more of a tangent. But I think a lot of people also think reptiles are like a decoration sometimes. Like you think you can just get a tank and then have a snake and it's cool. But really, I mean, there's a lot that goes into caring for reptiles. You have to regulate their temperature. You have to regulate their humidity. Like they want live plants. They want specific substrate. They have to be fed whole prey and sometimes live prey. And that's a lot for people to handle and they don't realize that. So there's a lot of care that goes into them. If you do want a reptile as a pet, I recommend looking for rescued reptiles because there are tons. People get snakes all the time and then they get too big and then they get rid of them or they release them into the wild and then invasive species is a whole other problem.
Right.
But if you do want to get a reptile as a pet, look for reptile rescues and worst case, if you're purchasing a reptile as a pet, just make sure that it's captive bred. Be really careful about accidentally purchasing wild caught reptiles because we don't know what that's doing to their population. It's very sad and it's a crisis for sure. It really stresses me out every time I think about that with reptiles and inverts.
Yeah. I hate I go into like a PetSmart or Petco that like sells reptiles.
Yeah. And their humidity's wrong and the temperature's wrong.
I've tried to look for those and like I've tried to like go in and like they're actually those were fine. But there's been a huge push for that recently. USDA has been like cracking down on the stuff for parrots because now they can start regulating parrots. And they kind of use that as an excuse to like push for these other animals that they don't regulate to kind of keep it under there. But Sparky Nick, an electrician, one of my best friends, he does PetSmarts, Petco's, like their lighting stuff. And he's like, they're starting to really focus a lot on doing that better, which is good. But then you look at all like where they get their pets. Like
good.
They're like, yeah, it's probably wild. It could be wild caught. Like it comes through a third party after a third party after a third party till it gets there. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Petco only looks like one layer. So anyway,
that's crazy.
So one that is kind of trippy, a spider that is pretty trippy. This is a little bit shorter one, but I've got 4 pictures of a spiny orb weaver spider.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
So cute.
Please describe this.
It looks like it's like a black and white gusher with red spiky thorns all over it.
Yep. All right, next one. Same thing, just a little bit better of a picture, more macro photography.
So cool.
This like really caught my attention. It like kind of looks like a face on it as well.
Yeah, it looks like a skeleton a little bit.
All right, next one. And then they come in different colors.
Wicked.
Yellow and orange and all white. I mean, there is some pet trade breeding for these. But inverts just aren't as popular. But they're really cool. And then our last picture.
Cool.
Yeah, I just like the different looks in them. So they're in North Central South America. So they're around here.
I've seen them.
You've seen them in the wild? That's great. So like other orb weavers, they build really cool webs. They eat lots of insects, so you want to leave them alone. Orb weavers are going to leave you alone. Like just leave them where they are.
Yeah.
People get scared. I back at your tiny house, you had an orb weaver back by your AC. The AC guy knocked it down in front of me, and I actually lost it. And I made
orb weaver.
I made up like I think I called her Petunia. I'm like, you did not just move petunias.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he ended up giving us the repair for free. So
what?
Yeah.
Because of the spider?
I think he liked what we did, but also
gosh,
like
funny.
he did get brought back, and he knew not to mess with Petunia anymore.
That's crazy.
He didn't kill her.
Yeah.
So that's good.
I just had to the Phase Boys have a bunch of orb weavers apparently in their backyard.
That's cool.
Like a whole I didn't even know that they lived in groups, and maybe they don't. Maybe they're exaggerating. Maybe they've seen like 3.
Right.
But they were talking about like how they need to go back there and like with flamethrowers and whatever. And I was like, guys, pause. They'll eat mosquitoes for you. You don't like mosquitoes? Like they'll help control the bug populations, and they're not going to hurt you. Like they're just anyway.
I mean, the worst they can do is like you're mowing your lawn, which they're probably not doing that, but like run your face into their webs.
Right.
And that's it. You know.
Yeah.
Like big whoop. And you have me now relocating Black Widows.
That's nice. That's nice.
All right. Well, anyway,
Spidey.
So the spiny orb weaver spiders, the males only live for a few months, and they die about 6 days after they do the deed.
Yeah,
that's
a norm in bugs.
Yeah, sad. Females lay egg clusters of up to 256 eggs. Very specific.
That's a lot.
And then they die shortly after laying them.
Sad.
Yeah, very sad. So I got one more if you're interested.
Yeah, I do too.
I'll do mine real quick. It's a satanic leaf-tailed gecko.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Yep. I was like, what, like if I took acid, if I were to imagine what acid was, like, what would it be? And it would be this.
Okay. It looks like a gecko, like you picture a gecko if it was satanic. Like it's just like a gray black gecko with red eyes. It looks kind of scary and angry.
Next picture.
And its tail does look exactly like a leaf. That's incredible.
Yeah. This is insane. All right. And last picture.
Oh, he's cute.
Different shades.
Oh my gosh. So cute.
So where do you think they live? If you had to guess.
South America.
Madagascar.
Okay.
A very tiny region in Madagascar. They're nocturnal, feed on insects and snails. They're great climbers, obviously. They can flatten their body against substrate to reduce their body's shadow, open their jaws wide to show a frightening bright mouth, and they'll voluntarily shed their tail in order to get away and trick predators.
Wow.
They are a big target for the pet trade. But what is interesting is IUCN that listed them as least concern, like recently. So like
huge.
I guess
it from Madagascar. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I wonder if like they're. I didn't look too much into it, but I wonder if they're able to breed them pretty well in captivity.
That's sweet.
So,
cool.
What is yours?
All right, I got one more. It is the psychedelic batwing slug. Please don't pull up the picture.
Okay.
This has been found in Guam, in reef flats from reef flats down to a depth of 10 meters, but it's most frequently found between 3 and 5 meters. I'm going to read you the...
What's the name again?
Psychedelic batwing slug.
And it's underwater. Weird. Okay.
I'm going to read you the like phenotypical description from this paper. Buckle up, everybody. And imagine what it looks like in your head as I'm reading this to you. Ready?
All right.
The base color of the head is light green with pale orange cephalic tentacles and several large medium orange to rust orange spots encircled by black lines. The tip of the dorsal of the dorsomedian crest is bright orange. The posterior of the crest has some black spots and irregular yellowish blotches. The dorsal hump is green with numerous large, irregularly shaped orange spots surrounded by black lines. The projection has an orange spot at the base. The mid part is pale green and the tip pale orange. The parapodia are rimmed in light orange with an irregular black line between the orange. Irregular orange spots surrounded by black appear on the parapodia, with the most ventral ones being elongated. The inside of the parapodia is greenish white with a few black spots. Orange spots appear around the tail but are paler than the body. The foot is greenish white with one long orange spot outlined in black. I don't even know how to say this word. The tenedium is transparent with black flecks and a few yellowish blotches. The base of the most dorsal two has the same coloring as the dorsal hump.
I would love for you to do that again, and I draw what you're describing to me.
Wait, should you? Can you draw on that?
Yeah.
I'll paraphrase for you. And then Connor will draw it, and then we'll show you what Connor thinks it looks like, and then you can compare it to what you think it looks like. Guys, surely you have an idea in your head of what it looks like. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here's what Connor thinks it looks like. The base... Okay, this is a psychedelic batwing slug.
Okay.
Base color of the head's light green.
Okay.
It has orange, like, head tentacles.
Orange on it. Head tentacles. Okay.
Has several large, medium orange to rust orange spots encircled by black lines.
I don't need to... Hold on. Let me draw the body, what I think the body looks like. Because do you describe the body in a second? Do you? No? Okay.
I'm mostly talking about color here. I don't really say the shape of it.
Oh, God. This looks so phallic.
Batwing slug.
Okay. Let me do some detail. Hold on. Stand by. I got this. Okay, ready? Next.
Okay. Posterior of the crest has some black spots and irregular yellow blotches.
Black. Okay, yellow blotch coming in. Okay, next.
Orange spots appear on the tail, but they're paler than on the body.
Oh, I'm not going to shade that. Okay, sure. Okay, next.
The foot is greenish white with one long orange spot outlined in black.
A foot. What, has just one foot? Does it have more than 1 feet? Does it only have one?
Hold on. Batwing slug foot.
Outlined in black. Okay. That's its foot. It said it was light green.
The foot is greenish white with one long orange spot outlined in black. I think that just means the underside of the slug. But I'm no slug biologist.
I got this. This definitely looks like a slug. Okay, continue.
And lastly, the base of the most dorsal two has the same coloring as the dorsal hump.
Good God, this is so bad.
All right.
Hold on. I got a color.
How's it? How are you feeling about it? Pretty good?
Yikes. Wait, that's yellow. One. I gotta do a little bit of shading.
Mind you, when I was doing my research and I was reading this paper, I was reading the paper before I saw what it looked like. So I was actively trying to imagine what it looked like. And then I just searched it in images.
God, this is like a kindergarten did this. Just so you know. And you said the dorsal ridge was what?
It has the same coloring as the dorsal hump.
What coloring was that?
I didn't tell you. It's green.
Why so many greens? Okay, there's a hump there. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I got this.
I'm gonna be honest, the description says a lot of green, and I'm not seeing that much green in this picture.
Okay, well, this is like mostly green.
Oh, well.
Almost done. Give me a countdown from 20.
20?
Okay, now 10.
10.
I'm almost done.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What?
It's a slug. Don't make fun of it.
Oh my gosh.
It's great, and that's its foot.
Audio listeners, it looks like a booger. It looks like a big green booger.
I'm proud of it.
All right, here's what the psychedelic Batwing slug looks like. Very close, Connor.
There's no freaking green on that.
I don't really know why it says green in the description. I mean, okay, it says light green, and I do think like its head and like its dorsal hump are light green with the orange things.
Sure. I don't know. I'm pretty spot on. I just need to add a few more spots. It'd be perfect. All right,
Guys,
what is this foot that
it
you're
kind of
talking
looks
about?
like, I think it's just the underside of the slug.
Oh, okay.
Guys, it looks like a giraffe if a giraffe was a sea slug.
Okay.
Connor's didn't look like that at all. Audio listeners, I hope you enjoyed this segment. It's really a good segment for y'all. Anyway, those are our world's trippiest for the day. What did you guys think? Are you having a good time?
I definitely want to take LSD now.
Okay, yeah, we could.
Yeah. It'll be a good time.
Let us know what topic ideas you guys have in the comments below. We really do. Every time we look for a topic for the week, we read the comments to find them. So maybe your topic will get picked and it will be really fun. This upcoming week, we have a guest episode, a fun guest episode.
Amazing.
With an entomologist, Evan, our friend Evan. And he will be answering some of our dumbest bug questions. No offense to our Patreon users. They are questions that come from our Patreon users and they are dumb. Like, it's like, can bugs get sunburned? Can bugs throw up? Can bugs fart? Do bees dance? Do they dream? Stuff like that. And I'm really excited to hear an entomologist's answer to these questions because I don't know the answer to hardly any of them.
Can they get plantar fasciitis?
Yeah, that was not one of the questions, but we could ask that.
I've got lots of questions about their feet.
So we're going to ask an entomologist next week on a guest episode, our dumbest bug questions. Make sure you come back for that. Guest episodes have been really fun. We're enjoying them. Let us know what else you want to see on World's Wildest. Otherwise, we will see you on the next episode.
See you soon.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Bye.